From the Ventura County Office of Education, this is the Focus on Education podcast. And now, here's your host, Ventura County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Cesar Morales.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Focus on Education. Teaching is one of the most noble and important professions a person can have, but all too often, it's undervalued and misunderstood. Today, taking a look at what it takes to become a teacher and why it can tremendously be a rewarding career. Joining us to talk about it is Joy Springer. She's the Executive Director of Educator Support and Effectiveness here at VCOE, and she's also a former teacher. Joy, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Joy, what is the process to become a teacher in California?
Sure. So the teaching process in California is more involved than most states, and it has many steps. But the first step, I think, is trying to determine what you want to teach, because based on that decision, multiple subject, single subject, CTE, there are many options. Your pathway will vary. But once you decide which pathway you're going to pursue, the next thing would be to find a commission-approved program, which you would complete to earn your preliminary credential. And when you have your preliminary credential, you can start in a classroom.
Perfect. So every one of our teachers has a bachelor's degree and then they go into a credential program?
No, there are many pathways that require bachelor's degrees, but not all. And so that's where we start with picking what you're going to teach.
Perfect. And I know we're going to touch a little bit on that later.
Absolutely.
What role does VCOE play in that process?
Yes. So VCOE is highly involved with the second step of credentialing, which is the credential clearing process. We are accredited with the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to offer induction programs, which provide support in the form of mentorship, professional development, general guidance for teachers who have learned what they need in their preliminary program and are now implementing it. So it's very similar to the medical model, where doctors finish their coursework and then are residents with a high level of supervision in their early placements. Teaching is much the same way, and VCOE supports an induction consortium for everyone who is in their second stage.
And how long is that stage?
2 years, and it applies to teachers, to administrators, and also to teachers who are in alternate pathways like CTE.
Perfect. What other ways do we support people who want to pursue careers in education?
Absolutely. So our team at VCOE, which is Educator Support and Effectiveness, we are charged with identifying how we can eliminate barriers that might prevent really great teachers from joining our profession. So some of the ways we do that is by partnering with our institutions of higher education. We are very lucky in Ventura County to have great higher ed partners. So we partner with them to make sure we're offering programs that are best aligned for future teachers. We also are very aggressive in securing grant funding because pursuing these pathways is expensive. And we never want a highly qualified teacher to not go into education because of the costs of programming. So pursuing grants and different funding sources is another way that we support future teachers.
That's great. It seems like it's lucky to be a teacher in Ventura County.
Absolutely.
We've been hearing about a shortage of teachers for years. Is that still a problem in Ventura County now that the student population is declining?
That is such a great question, and I'm glad you're asking, because it is something that is different here than perhaps throughout the rest of the state. The state as a whole is in a large teacher shortage, and we don't feel it as much in Ventura County. But it's not only because of declining enrollment. It's also because we have higher retention rates in our schools than many other schools throughout the state. So there are multiple factors. We also, as I mentioned, have a very steady stream of wonderful teachers coming out of the universities that I mentioned that are in our county. So because of that, we don't feel the shortage as much in Ventura County. But that being said, I never want the message to be out there that we are not hiring, because we are. We have just over 400 candidates in Ventura County alone who are in their first or second year of teaching. So there are opportunities to work in Ventura County if you are a passionate educator. And so I never like the message that Ventura County is perhaps not in a shortage to be miscommunicated. We are always looking for highly qualified teachers.
Well, it's definite teamwork and collaboration, not only from the VCOE team here that you lead, but our amazing partners that you've mentioned in our higher ed community, the community college system, CSUCI and COU here locally that provide us excellent candidates.
Absolutely.
Which types of teachers are in the highest demand?
Yes. So for many years, the top of that list is special education teachers. We are always looking for special education teachers, and those who have that training have many options available to them. But interestingly, in recent years, the second and third place has shifted. What used to be math and science, pretty much in a lockup, is now replaced with bilingual and arts. And the arts is interesting. It's likely because of the Prop 28 funding that allowed many of our districts to hire art and music teachers that they hadn't before. So the top three right now are special education, bilingual educators, and art teachers.
Yeah, and we definitely need bilingual teachers as districts throughout the county have added dual immersion programs.
Exactly.
In every district. Teaching has always come with its share of challenges, and now we can add artificial intelligence and the national political divide to the list. How are we supporting teachers with this?
Such a powerful question. So I think that what I would like to share there is that communities as a whole right now, because of the things you mentioned, are feeling a level of overwhelm. And teachers are no different from that. Teachers, I don't know if you know the statistic, but it's a measure that they make around 1,500 decisions a day. So the work alone,
Wow,
in the best of situations, is exhausting. And so when you add these extra factors like, how will I integrate AI in my classroom, or will I or won't I, or how are my practices being perceived by the community, it's even more tiring than perhaps it once was. So we are taking a very proactive stance as a county office to really support the humanity of our educators. We know that if an educator is not well, they're not able to show up in the best way for their students. So some of the ways that we're doing that is by basing our entire induction process on compassionate practices. Our county office has had extensive training in how to integrate those things with the center that we partner with. And then the other way that we do it is through a partnership with a group called Educators Thriving. Educators Thriving is a community of educators that teaches specific wellness practices, and we found this to be very powerful for new educators. So in our induction program, our educators are learning about prioritization and time management and having difficult conversations. And we find that all of these things are ways to help with that overwhelm that is perhaps at a higher level than has been due to these community factors.
In your experience, what's been one of the biggest misconceptions people have about teaching?
This is a great question. I would say the greatest misconception is the amount of time it takes to be a good teacher. I know you were a teacher, and so was I, and people would sometimes say to me like, oh, it must be so great to leave at 2. That's awesome. You have the whole afternoon to do what you want. And that's just not true. Our teachers actually, the data shows they work about 51 hours per week, or roughly 7 hours more than the traditional American in the workforce. So teachers are working really, really hard to do great things for kiddos. And it is very often, most often, outside of the bounds of the normal day.
Yeah. Thank you to the teachers, not only for what you do with our students in the classroom, but all the hours and energy you spend on planning your amazing lessons for our kids.
Yes.
What would you say to someone who asks why they should pursue a teaching career?
Also, such good questions. Okay, I started my career in education as a teacher. It remains the best job that I have ever had. And I think I would personally say that what I loved about it is the autonomy and collaboration balance in teaching, right? Like I had the ability to do a lot of things on my own, but within such a wonderfully talented team. I loved that. And then beyond that, I believe that the youth in our community that's our greatest gift. And to be able to be surrounded by them and their potential and their energy each and every day, there's nothing better than that. It's really hard to have a bad day in a classroom full of wonderful kiddos, and that's what you get to do when you're a teacher.
Yeah, our community is so blessed to have people that invest 100% of themselves to our students. You and I both have experience as classroom teachers. Can you share a story from your time as a teacher when you knew you had chosen the right profession?
Sure. So I spent the majority of my teaching career as a kindergarten teacher. And so I could tell you endless stories about how fabulous 5-year-olds are and the cute things that they said. And did. But I think what I'm going to share instead is something that just happened recently. We welcomed our new teacher induction cohorts to induction just a couple of weeks ago. And we had just under 1,000 people on our campus across 2 days. It was really fun and energized. But the first day after I welcomed the group, I had a couple of people who have experience with across almost 3 decades in education come up and say hello or, whatever. And there was a young girl and she was just standing patiently and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Oh, no, I don't. I'm so sorry." And I was thinking maybe it was through induction or something. And she said, "I was in your kindergarten class. My name is Alexis."
Oh, wow.
And then I immediately remembered sweet Alexis, 5 years old. And she said, I don't want to get emotional, but she said, "I loved school ever since I was 5 and in your class. And now I'm teaching TK. This is my very first year." And so having that experience and realizing that as teachers, what we do day in and day out has ripple effects that we don't even know about. And that moment where I was seeing people who I had taught as mentors and as this sweet one that was now a future teacher, it just was very full circle to me and reminded me of the power of the career I've chosen.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What's the best source of information for anyone interested in becoming a teacher?
Absolutely. So I would love to just shout out to my team, Educator Support and Effectiveness at VCOE. If you go to vcoe.org/ESE, our webpage is chock full of information for those who are interested in teaching. A lot of our information is specific to teaching in Ventura County, but we do have a link to the CTC's Roadmap to Teaching. That is a California-wide opportunity where future educators can plug in what their experience is, what their highest educational level, and it will create a tailored pathway based on where you're starting and where you want to go. So the CTC Roadmap to Teaching is a powerful tool, and there are also lots of resources in educator support and effectiveness on the VCOE website.
Thank you. Thank definitely to the team led by Joy and Educator Support and Effectiveness. Our teachers here in Ventura County are very blessed to have them as primary support, and we're here to support them as well as all prospective teachers. That'll wrap it up for this episode. Joy, we really appreciate you being here today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Focus on Education is a production of the Ventura County Office of Education. We encourage you to subscribe and join us each month for new episodes. You can find Focus on Education wherever you get your podcasts or at vcoe.org/podcast. We also welcome your feedback. You can email us at communications@vcoe.org.